Hey Scouts, this is Jason with today's guided Cub Scout activity. Today we're going to be talking about paracord and some different things that you can make with it. We hope that you're enjoying these activities. We certainly enjoy bringing them to you. And if you are enjoying them, you'd like to help support these and help us bring more of these into your home, please consider donating at the link below. All right, so let's talk about paracord. What you see here is a keychain that a friend of mine made for me several years ago. He was a camp director and a scoutmaster, and he uh, made these for all of the camp staff one year. I carry my camp keys on it. It's a great way to make sure that I know which keys are those. It fits in my pocket really well, and it's a really kind of a neat way to utilize something to make something crafty, maybe a gift, and it is paracord, so if I really got into a pinch, I could unravel it and use it. So what is paracord? Paracord is it's short for parachute cord. It's a really kind of lightweight and pretty small, but very strong cord or rope that has a lot of uses. This happens to be what they call 550 cord, which is that deals with the size or notes the size of it. It's the most common, and you can find it any number of places. We sell it out at camp. We sell it in the scout shop. You can buy it online. This is what they call a hank of, paracord. You can see it comes in a lot of colors. You got orange, you got blue, multicolor. This is really dirty, so it's hard to tell, but it used to be multicolored. Um, but you can buy camo, any number of colors. But today we're going to make a keychain using paracord, but there's a lot of different things or crafts that you can make utilizing paracord, and it's all about just how you want to tie it, really. But the great thing about it, like I said, is that you can find something useful that you can take with you. But if you come into a pinch and you need, a piece of cord to fix a shoelace, make a belt, tie up a shelter, whatever it may be, you've got some really useful rope right there in your pocket. So there is a book, Paracord Crafts, that we also sell out at camp, and I believe they also have it in the scout shop, that shows a number of things that you can do. I'll point out a couple of them here. You've got bracelets. You can put a cord around your headphones. People can make lanyards with them. I've seen people like wrap around the handle of a coffee cup. I haven't wrapped this one, but I've seen people do that as well. So lots of things that you can do with paracord. Now, for today, we're going to need a few things, right? Obviously, we're going to need some paracord. That, like I said, you can get this online if you don't have anybody or any at home. I'm going to need a pair of scissors. I'm going to need a keychain of some sort, right? So a ring for my keys. If you don't have that, you can use a carabiner. Really, you can use anything for what we're going to do today, as long as you can wrap around it, which I'll show you. And then lastly, you are going to need a lighter, and so you're going to need to make sure that your parents are working with you on this. There is a part of this that you're going to need parental help on. You can see here on the end, once you cut a paracord, it gets all ravelly, right? And you can melt that, and I guess I'll show you right here. You can melt that and keep it from unraveling, but that gets really, really hot. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't touch it, and absolutely make sure that your parents are doing this for you, or an adult. It doesn't necessarily have to be your parent, but it does need to be an adult. So do not do this on your own. This is the part that you absolutely have to have help with. So again, lighter, scissors, some sort of ring, paracord. Those are the things that you're going to need today. And I am actually going to show you real quickly what I'm going to be working with, and then we're going to switch views so you can see me work with my hands. But you're going to want about a 3 to 4 foot length of paracord, right? So you're going to need to, you can just eyeball it because you'll be able to cut the other ends off, or you can measure it. But like I said, you're going to want about anywhere between 3 and 4 feet. So this is what you're going to need here. All right. And what we're going to do first, what I'll do from this view, is we're going to tie a lark's head knot over our ring. So take your cord, put your two ends together like this, hold them, and find the center of your cord. And then you're going to take the center of that cord as a loop, and you're going to, actually I think I'm going to switch views because this will be easier if you can see it better. So let me switch my camera, we'll get back to this. Okay, now that we've switched views, we are going to start our keychain off by tying a lark's head onto the carabiner, in this case, key ring, whatever you're going to be using. So to do that, I have the center of my cord, and I have created a loop here, and I've got the loop here in my hands. And I'm going to lay the, in this case, carabiner on top of that loop and poke that loop up through. Right? So it's coming up through the center of my carabiner or keychain. And then I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to grab the free ends of my cord. I'm going to make sure it wraps around whatever I'm tying around, but come up through my loop and pull that down tight. And so it should look like this. Right? So you have your loop coming underneath your cords here. You're going to pull that down tight. And so now, nice, good, tight knot here. And so at this point, flip it over, right? Because I'm going to start weaving my way back down towards my lark's head. So you're going to want about 5 or so inches of keychain here. I'm assuming in this case, mine was, actually this one's a little shorter. This is about 3 inches. So however long you want it to be, that's where you're going to want to tie a knot to start with. And what I have done here is, to make this easier to see how to do this, I have a one started that has a blue cord and an orange cord, and that's going to make a little bit more sense, or it's going to be a little bit easier to follow as we tie this knot. So, and make this keychain. So I'm going to lay this here on the table, and I have my orange cord on the right and my blue cord on the left. And I will, as we go through this, I will continue to refer to them as the orange cord on the right and the blue cord on the left, so that you can follow along. So to get this thing started, I'm going to take my orange cord on the right. Right? I'm going to make a loop here, and I'm going to pass that loop underneath both of the center cords. So again, I've got my orange cord on the right. I bend it over and make a loop and pass it under both cords. Now I'm going to get this the distance where I want it. Now to tie this off, or to get started, I'm going to take the free end of my blue cord. I'm going to pass it underneath the free end of my orange cord, come up and down through my orange loop. And so what I'm left with is, as I pull this tight, I've got a starting point for my keychain. You're not going to want to tie or try to cinch this down too tight, because if you keep pulling on these ends, it's just going to slide down the keychain. So what I do is I just kind of put my thumb and my finger here, cinch it up a little bit tight. It doesn't have to be super tight at this point. And this is how I'm going to start, right? So So again, now I have my blue cord, which is no longer on the left, it is now on the right, and my orange cord. So now I'm ready to start making my way down here through from this part of the keychain to this part of the keychain. And the way I'm going to do that is I like to always start with the cord that happens to be on the left at that time. But it's going to be important that you pay attention to where you're at. We're going to alternate a little bit back and forth, and so it's easy to get mixed up. So I'm going to take this slow to begin with and try to make sure that it's easy enough to follow along. So I'm going to take my orange cord and I'm going to pass it. I got to think about this for a second. I'm going to, what am I going to do with this? Yeah, so sorry, I had to think about that for a second. I'm going to take my orange cord, I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to lay that loop on top of both of my center cords. Then I'm going to take the free end of my cord here on the right. I'm going to pass it over this cord that's laying on top. I'm going to go under both, right? So if you can see here, I'm going to go under my center cords and come up through this cord. And that's backwards. So I'm going to undo that because I did that wrong. We're going to try this again. So starting over, I'm going to take my cord on the right, not the cord on the left, the cord on the right, lay it on top of both cords. So make a loop, lay it on top, and then bring my cord that's on the left, lay it over the free end, come under the two cords, and up through the loop that I made with my cord that's on the right. And so this is what it should look like before you tie it. And here's how you can tell whether you're going in the right way or not. In this case, the cord that's blue, so this cord coming through is on top. It wants to make a loop and stay on top. So as I pull this tight here, you can see what I'm making are actually I'm making square knots. So here's where you can pull this, cinch this down tight a little bit, and now it will stay together. So this is what it should look like. You should have a loop that starts here, comes around, and comes back to here. Now this is where I'm going to need to alternate. So if I always start with my right cord will not always be the one that goes on top. My right cord was on top last time, so now it's going to go underneath. So take my right cord, make a loop again, but this time I'm going to go underneath the two middle cords, and I'm going to bring my left cord underneath the end, over the top of my two middle cords, and down my loop. So again, I'm tying a square knot onto here, and I cinch that tight. So as I make my way down through the keychain towards the end, if I always start on my right side, I'm going to alternate, laying it on the top and then underneath, and on the top and underneath. So my right side now, make a loop, lay it on top, my left cord over, underneath the whole thing, underneath the center cords, and up through my loop, and pull that tight. So since my right cord went on top last time, it's going to go underneath this time. bring my blue cord over the free end, under the center, and up through the loop. And you can see that I clearly made a mistake there, which it's easy to do. It's very easy to get mixed up. So if you go to tie your knot and it doesn't work, it doesn't look right, no big deal. Just undo this last one and start over. So easier said than done, but here we go. So again, I'm going to make my loop. I'm going to pass underneath my center cords. I'm going to go underneath my free end over the top of my center cords, which is, I'm pretty sure, where I made my mistake last time, and back down. There we go. So you can see how that looks right, and so I'm going to keep it there and move on to my next. Like I said, it's really, really easy to get mixed up. I got mixed up multiple times the first time that I did this, and that's okay. Don't get frustrated, or try not to get frustrated, and it really, you'll get better at it, and it's okay to make mistakes and have to take it apart and do it again. So again, I'm going to make my loop, this time with my right. I'm going to lay it over the top. I'm going to bring my left over my free end, underneath, and back up through. So you can see we're alternating our way down the keychain as we go along. And let's see here. To make sure. Yeah. It's okay to take your time and have to think about it a little bit. But again, alternate with, if I'm always starting with the cord on my right, I'm going to go over one time, under the next, over one time, and under the next. The great thing about doing this on watching a video while doing this is you can start the video over, rewind it, pause it. You can do there's all sorts of ways to, got to make sure I'm starting with the right side every time. All sorts of ways to kind of help you get through that. This is probably one of the more difficult Cub Scout activities that we're doing, but it is a fun one. Once you get it figured out, it's not too hard to keep things going. Right? There you go. I was getting ready to make a mistake again. But it is a little challenging to, when you're just getting started, to try and understand just exactly everything that you need to do. Like I said, it's no, see there, I made a mistake again. It's okay to make mistakes as you're going along. It's very, very common. There we go. I got that figured out. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through all of that again, because I got a little ahead of myself and clearly made a couple of mistakes in there. So I take my right cord, make a loop, lay it underneath, and take my left cord, and I kept wanting to go the wrong way. And so I want to make sure that I go underneath and over the top of everything and back through my loop. So, all right. So in this case, right cord goes over the top. So I bring my left cord over the top, underneath everything, and up through my loop. So we're getting just about to the end here. So I'll take a few more passes along here and finish this up. And then I'll show you how to end this. And this is where you're definitely going to want to have some parental help, because we're going to need to fuse the ends or melt the ends together, and that's where we're going to have to use the lighter. And getting ready to make a mistake again. That's where we're going to have to use the lighter, and we want to make sure that we're doing that safely. So you're going to need to make sure you have some adult help when we do that part. So in this case, we get to make a decision. Is that tight enough, or do I want to make one more in here to make it just a little bit tighter? I think I'm going to try to put one more in and see what we get. That is, if I can actually pull that off. All right, there we go. So here is my paracord chain, nice and snug. And so what I'm going to do here is I want to take my scissors. I'm going to cut this as close as I can. Now again, you absolutely make sure that you have an adult to do this part for you. Do not touch this after it has been melted, because it is very, very hot and it will burn you. So I just want to take the lighter and just melt those ends down so that they don't fray. I'm going to do my other side here and cut my cord. Nice and short. Melt my ends. There we go. We have a paracord keychain that, if you remember, there's about 3 to 4 feet of paracord in here that if you needed to, you could unravel this and utilize that cord for something in an emergency, as much of an emergency as you might have. Like I said, broken shoelace, need a belt, need to tie something up, all sorts of options. So hopefully that you find this activity fun, and like I said, there's lots of different things that you can take part in or do with these skills, and you're only limited by your mind and how creative you want to be. So thanks for joining us, and have a great day, and enjoy making some paracord crafts.